Boom, we are back. Nosy here of the FPL Draft Duo, and FPL is back, which means FPL Draft Mode is back. And on the screen here, you can see I have 5 tiers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 plus. Today I'm going to be ranking the forwards in the draft, and essentially R1 means round 1. I picked them round 1. 5 plus is probably not a priority. So if you've played the draft before, you can understand why some of these players are ranked the way they are. If you haven't, if you watch our videos and strategy over the next coming weeks, you will get a better understanding. So let's get into it. Haaland, number 1, easy pick. Ollie Watkins, also very easy pick. If we continue on and we look at the likes of Isaac, Havertz, Solanke, they all can be justified being in round 1. When you get a striker in the draft, it kind of eases off the pressure. So by picking Solanke, you can then go for a Kudos or a Bowen or whoever in midfield. If you leave a striker later, you're going to be under pressure. And I'll explain that further. So, Isaac, Havertz, Solanke, easy picks. Now, if Arsenal buy someone, Havertz might be affected then, or definitely will be affected. But for now, I think easy round 1. Darwin Nunez, Ivan Toney. I know some people might question Darwin Nunez, but FPL have just brought in extra bonus points on the bonus point system for shots on target. And Darwin Nunez actually had, I think it was the second highest shots on target last season. Ivan Toney, obviously small sample size from last season, but a nail down starter, and I think that's one of the most important things. If we have a nail down player in a team, we don't have to be worrying. And some of the players that are lower down this list, they might be good strikers, but if they're not guaranteed starting for their teams, well then you're going to be under pressure because you have to start a forward. Same as normal FPL, you need at least one forward. And if you have a rotating forward as a draft pick, as your kind of first draft striker, you're going to be under pressure for starting that player every week. So that's why the players you see on this round 1, tier 1, should be prioritised, because once you get them, it eases the pressure of needing a forward and you can focus on your midfield. If we come on to round 2, and again, if there's a Salah or a Palmer and you want to take them, that's absolutely no problem, but maybe the round 1 strikers might be gone. If we look at round 2, these are some of the strikers, maybe if all of them are gone, you could be targeting. Again, the order here is not representative of the order I picked them, but we're looking at the likes of Alvarez. Obviously, the first half of the season last year, Alvarez actually played nearly every minute, so can still really be a good player. But again, when we question a person's minutes, that can have a big effect on where they're going to be picked in the draft. Now, Højlund, Richarlison, kind of two off the ball ones, but I expect both of them have better seasons than last year. Højlund, obviously, I think he missed the first 8 games and then didn't score for like 15 or something like that. So I think Højlund's going to get off to a better start, and Richarlison, if he continues to play up top, could be actually productive. Now again, I would worry about Richarlison's minutes and Højlund his output. So that's why they're down in round 2, but maybe even lower. I wouldn't put them any higher than round 2. Mateta, Jackson, Cunha, they all could be ahead of the likes of Højlund and Richarlison. Mateta especially. Mateta had a brilliant season last year. The issue with Mateta is that if he's your sole striker, you're going to be relying on him, a Palace striker, for goals. So getting one of the top tier players for a better team is just going to ease your mind every week. Jackson, tier 2, possibly higher up because obviously, he's playing for Chelsea, but I think he's down this far is because Nkunku on the Chelsea website is classed as a striker. Now, I know he plays a lot as a number 10, but if Jackson's minutes are reduced, that could put him down. He could be one player where he could actually be better than his output, and Nkunku might actually help him. Cunha, another solid pick up top. If you're going, so we've round 1 and round 2 done. If you're waiting until round 3 to pick a striker, you are going to be in trouble, because the strikers we see from round 3 to 4 and 5 don't play for the best teams. They don't have the best output, and they're not guaranteed starters. So the players you see here, and maybe others, if there's other players that you think deserve round 1 or 2, let me know. But also new players coming into the league. So you have to really prioritize this. And if you think about it, if there's 12 players in a league, I have 7 in the top category there. So after 2 rounds, all of them 7 are going to be gone. If you wait until round 3 to go picking for a striker, you're going to be left with the likes of Wissa, Muniz, sorry. 2 great strikers in their own right. But if they're your sole striker, right, and you might pick up a good second striker, possibly a good third striker, but again, some weeks you're going to play with 1 striker. If they're your top man, yeah, then you're going to be struggling. So Wissa and Muniz as second strikers, they would be unreal. If you got a combination of a Tony and a Muniz, that would be a very solid up top. Again, this all depends on how many's in your league. If you're playing with 6, you might get 2 or 3 of these players. If you're playing with 12, you might only get 1, possibly 2. If we go down to round 4, we're looking at like DCL, Gabriel Jesus. Jesus could be better, could be up there depending on, well, I suppose, who Arsenal buy. But he has played left wing. Martinelli didn't have a great season. I think he could have a decent average output this year. But as your sole striker, maybe not going to be as productive as maybe the top guys. And even if, I know it's mad to say it, but even if you just have a starting striker and he's getting you 2 points every week, maybe an assist here and there, that's better than having a striker that's getting 1 point every game or getting a substitute appearance, because you don't know when to start them and when to not. Even if you've got Jesus as a second striker, let's say I'm just looking at Solanke, when do you start Jesus over a good midfielder? If he gets into a bit of form and consistently starts for Arsenal, that's fine. But if he kind of plays an in and out role and you don't know when he's going to play, it's nearly a negative having him, because you want to play him and he doesn't start, he gets 1 point. So the main thing is prioritizing first choice strikers. And that's why actually some of the players in round 5 who I'm looking at, Armstrong and Inde or whatever his name is, that's just moved to Everton, could actually be very good options. I'm not saying he's going to have a better output than Jesus, but I'm talking about in terms of strategy. It might be easier to start Armstrong every day. Yeah, banged 21 goals last season. So he's nearly a nail down starter for Southampton there. And if you can start him and get your 2 points and be happy about it, it might be a lot easier than having the headache of starting Jesus, don't start Jesus. So although they might seem the great picks, I would prioritise minutes first, as well as obviously the team they play for and the output they have. Down the bottom of the tier, and we're looking at, again, a player I'm talking about in terms of minutes, Callum Wilson. Nice striker if you can afford to start him. If you can have 2 strikers, if you had an Isaac and a Wilson, you started both them, or vice versa. Wilson is a great sub. I have often started Wilson and he has come on and banged a goal. But if you're relying on Wilson as your sole striker and you have to start him and he doesn't start and comes on with 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you're really narrowing your chance of having a striker that's going to score points for you. And then that's nearly 1 position taken away from 11. So be really smart with when you do it and who you go for. Down the bottom, these probably will be bumped up, but Awoni and Chris Wood. Very simple. I don't know who's going to start. Wood had a great season to the end of the last season. Awoni is made of glass. If Awoni could stay fit, I'd really prioritise him as a second striker. You probably won't get him as a third striker. These are the players that you want to target if you want to set a good foundation for your draft. As I said, when you pick some of these players, more so the higher up players, you have that ease of being able to target some other midfielders and defenders and come back to a striker later on. People will be scrambling for these round 5-4 strikers when all the top strikers have gone, and that's when you can go for maybe a midfielder that someone else could have taken, but they realised I've no striker. So a couple of tips. I'm going to be doing more videos based on strikers when more come into the league, but yeah, hopefully you get first pick and you get Haaland and you don't have to worry about any of this. If this helped you, make sure to subscribe, follow Instagram, Twitter, you know the crack. FPL Draft Duo out. Boom.